situation who can even be a bridge to get us to the other side. But I think when we get to the other side, it'll be the other side of realness.
I think Joe Biden has a chance to be LBJ.
Next LBJ.
Yeah, that's a good thing.
I don't believe you can be a Democrat and be a Christian at the same time. I just don't believe it.
That's why you better be independent. You can't be a Republican and a Christian at the same time either. Just ask the evangelicals.
What's going on, everybody? As you can see, I'm at the March on Washington. No, I'm not really, but it would have been nice to join them at the March, which we're going to talk about that a little later. There's been so much that's happened since we talked on Monday, and we're going to try to get to all these topics in a very short amount of time. I have a guest that's going to be on with me today, a familiar face, and we might have some other guests, some other friends pop in. So y'all just talk with us tonight. Let's share insight on some of the crap that's happening, some of the good things and bad things. And I definitely want to see y'all's comments on what you think of some of these happenings. Let's go and bring on our guest, Miss Shahana. How's it going?
Hello.
Hollywood.
That's you.
Hollywood.
I had to make you fly tonight, so I was like, I'll put my shoes on.
I like the hair. I like it.
Something different.
You ready to jump into these topics?
I'm ready. I've been ready.
Yeah, just me and you for now until we have anybody else pop on, and anyone that's watching. If you want to get into these conversations, by all means, just say it in the comments, and our producer will send you the link, and we'll get you on in here, as long as you got something to say. All right. Mm-hmm. So first thing we want to tackle is Kenny Smith. He walked off the set a few days ago in solidarity as a former NBA player, in solidarity, and also as a black man, to the NBA players who are boycotted, and some people want to call it a strike. I guess it could be called it either or, and also in solidarity of Jacob Blake, who was shot. We'll talk about that more in a minute. Who was shot in Wisconsin 7 times in the back by police officers. It's almost like a deja vu. I feel like we're literally just talking about somebody being shot by police officers unjustly. And I feel like it's been going on far too long. We're having to talk about it way too much. And it's getting, just becoming, what's the word? It's draining.
Very.
To say the least. What are your thoughts on that? Isn't it draining?
It's like mentally draining when you have it, and especially when you are black and you have black sons and daughters. It's like you just fear for yourself and them as well. As far as Kenny Smith, though, I feel him 100% that he walked out. I'm trying to figure out why Shaq didn't get out and walk up with him. I knew Charles wasn't going to go nowhere, but
right. I was surprised that Shaq didn't. I was surprised that Shaq didn't.
Shaq should have got up and walked with him. I feel like that was a moment that y'all all could have got united and got up and left that podium. Because I feel as though if it was the time that Stephen A. Smith was on, he probably would have got up and walked with Kenny.
Yeah.
So even though that's not his show, but still, I just feel like we're sick and tired. Like I know I'm sick and tired.
Yeah, me too.
And
so these are some of the moves we're having to make these days, and these are some of the sacrifices that people are having to make because this stuff is going on way too much. I mean, one time is too much, but the fact that it's continuing to happen over and over, people are having to make these bold moves, if you will, taking bold stands that could possibly put their jobs at risk, could put their reputations at risk. You never know. But I'm glad that people are taking these risks and taking these stands because it's out of control. And that's all I say about Kenny Smith. What else we got? What else we talking about? Trump pardons. All right. So who watched the Republican National Convention? I have to watch some of it at least because I have to report on it. Did you watch it?
Some.
No, some of it?
Some.
So I couldn't bear the entire thing, so I just watched highlights as much as I could. They had a lot of people speak. It was not as entertaining as the Democratic one. And Trump he's known for making big moves. That photo you just saw was a young lady, Miss Johnson. What's her name? Something Johnson. Let me see. Let me look at my notes. What's his lady name? Some Johnson. Alice Marie Johnson. So he pardoned her today after commuting her sentence 2 years ago, shortening her sentence basically with the help. It was kind of led by Kim Kardashian. Kim Kardashian did a pretty, I would say, a great deed in not really vouching, but really pressing and pushing for people to be released from prison, particularly with nonviolent offenses. And that's basically the experience of Alice Johnson. She was in prison for 21 years and she had a life sentence for being convicted on charge of conspiracy to possess cocaine and attempted possession of cocaine. Absolutely ridiculous. Absolutely. I promise you, there are not white folks probably that have that same charge with life in prison. So 21 years of her life wasted. And I honestly think it's a good thing. I think it's a great thing that with the help of Kim Kardashian, that he commuted a sentence, shortened it 2 years ago, and that he pardoned her. However, I do also know that he's playing chess. I do also know that he's doing little bitty things for Black folks right now in hopes of getting votes. How do I feel about that? Well, I'll let you tell me. How do you feel about that, first of all?
Me? Okay, so I'm going to tell you how I feel about it. I'm going to say one thing before I tell you how I feel. So the fact that he's doing it publicly is kind of astonishing because, so I watch this show every Monday called For My Man and Fatal Attraction on TV1. And 2 women on there, which I did not know. One of them, Bill Clinton pardoned for the same thing, cocaine. She sold drugs for her boyfriend and got life in New York. And this was in the 80s.
Gee, she Black?
And Bill Clinton pardoned her, and I never knew about it.
She Black?
She was Black, yes. And he pardoned her, and she was like crying because the boyfriend, who was the kingpin, only got 10 years. She got life.
She a horrible lawyer.
And Bill Clinton didn't, he didn't put it out there. He didn't brag about it. Until I watched that show, I didn't know. Monday just passed. Apparently, it was another lady. Everything on TV1 is all Black, But it was another lady that Obama pardoned that had life for. It was like conspiracy. She didn't even commit the crime, but she was in a, conspiracy after the fact. Yeah. And he pardoned her. And I'm like, I didn't even know this because he didn't say it. So I feel like if you're going to do something out the kindness of your heart, you don't have to brag about it. You just do it. And the fact that, and I'm not saying Bush could have pardoned somebody. They just didn't show it yet. I just didn't see it yet. So if other presidents have done this, but they're not doing it for accolades or to show the world. They're doing it because they feel as though it's unjust. And I feel like I'm happy that he's doing it. I don't care if he wants to do it for accolades or for people to congratulate him. As long as he's pardoning these people, I'm okay with that. But don't just do it because you want applause. But these people are getting pardoned, and I think it's a good deal. I just don't like the way he's going about it. But
it's a smart move, but it's a shady move at the same time. It's smart because he's changing their lives. These are people that thought they were going to be in jail. She thought she was going to be in jail for life. So her and her family, her immediate family, I'm sure they think he's probably the best thing he's going to slice bread because it changed and impacted their lives like tremendously. If I have relatives that are in prison right now, I would just be over the moon if they could get out, right? So I get that whole thing, but it does it's a sour taste, the fact that he's using it. He's using that. But I ain't gonna turn down no goodies now. I ain't gonna turn it down.
I ain't either.
I ain't now. But I just wish he was a better person where he really cared. And I guess that's asking too much of him. I wish he really cared about folks and did it just for doing a good thing versus doing it to get it reelected. But yeah, so that it's interesting. And she's not the only one. I think there's a couple more people that he did on TV. And she actually spoke at the inauguration. And she had tons of amazing things to say about him. And understandably so. I understand why she would have amazing things to say about the person who gave her life back, pretty much. And he is swooping in like a savior, if you will, for these folks, because he knows those are lifetime votes. Those are lifetime votes that he's getting from these people, even though it's a play, it's a chess move, it's a chess play.
It definitely.
He's a businessman, for sure. Kendrick said, pandering to our emotions. I'll get that clown Trump that. He knows how to market him. He is a businessman.
Hit it on the nose.
Yeah. Whether you think he's a good businessman or not, that's smart. And if you fighting a war to try to be reelected so you can continue to be in power and feed your ego, he's doing smart moves to do that. And some black people are benefiting from it. I can't say much else about it, really. Ellen Reasonover says, no, he wasn't a threat. These brothers need to start shooting back and save their life. Oh, you talking about the shoot. We ain't got to that yet, but we're going to get to it in just a second. I think she's talking about Blake, perhaps. I don't know. Oh, you talking about Blake or you talking about Kyle? Because we're going to talk about both of these gentlemen. Which one are you talking about, Ellen? Because we're going to get to them both. Let's go on to the next stop. What else we got? Jacob Blake. Maybe you're talking about Jake. Maybe you're talking about Kyle. I'm not sure. But Jacob Blake is the young man. I think he's maybe 29 years old. I don't know.
29, I believe.
All right. Black guy who was shot 7 times in the back. I've wrestled with the conversation about this because you know how I am about us, right? I'm a little different when it comes to us, right? I really wrestle with it, I'm just gonna say this. It is horrible, and I'm so sick of seeing this. I'm so sick of police not being trained properly or not using the training that they're getting. One or the other, or a combination of both. And not tell them, say you're hard on us. I am. I really am. I'm so sick of it. It's like makes me sick to my stomach seeing it. And that police needs to be in prison, in my opinion, for life, like Miss Johnson was. And it's a shame that he probably won't. Maybe if we continue to push like everybody's pushing right now and marching and athletes are getting involved, big names are getting involved, perhaps he will, like the other gentleman that killed and murdered George Floyd by putting his knee on his neck. Perhaps he will, and he should. The other officers, I don't think they didn't do the shooting. This guy did. And when does it take 7 bullets to stop somebody? As he was walking around the car, if you guys saw it, we got a photo of them in the car. If we do, throw it up there real quick for a second. Look, as he's walking around the car, keep it up for a second. Right there, you could have died on top of him.
He could have died. He could have tased them. The worst, you could have just grabbed him and subdued him.
Yeah. You could have tased him, because if I was a cop, I'd be tasing him.
You're an arm reach.
I'd be a tasing fool if I was a cop. I wouldn't. The last resort to me is deadly force. To me, I would have tased him. You could even pull your billy club out. All right, take it back.
Not
you could
right,
even they still have billy clubs. They still got some kind of.
It's not right. You can't. We're not going that far now.
You could have did something. I'm just saying, instead of shooting somebody 7 times, there were so many other options to stop him. Because now I'm hearing that there's a lot of tussling and stuff that happened before that picture, right? There's a lot of, supposedly he was on the ground wrestling and with him and all this stuff beforehand, right? Doesn't justify the shooting. But I heard that there was a whole lot of tussling going on before then, and he mentioned, this is what I heard, that he mentioned something about having a knife in the car and started walking around towards the car. Now,
a knife.
Let's be honest. Right? Now let's be honest. Now we gotta be honest too, because I feel like we have to have the talk with our sons. And if I was having a talk with my son, I would tell him, if you're have interaction with cops, don't do that. That's not smart. You got these cops are racist. They'll use anything they can. And I guarantee you, they're gonna use the fact that he mentioned something about a knife, quote supposedly, that he was going back to his car. There was a tussle, and if that's the case, all this officer has to do is say that we don't know if he's going to get a weapon or not. He's probably going to get the knife. He could have had a gun. We don't know, so we have to subdue him. Not with 7 shots, however. but I would definitely tell my son, never ever do that. Don't turn your back and walk away from a police and go and open the door to your car. Don't do that. You almost give him a license to shoot.
What about Castro, who had his hand on the steering wheel and a cop shot him? He did everything to comply with the officers, and they still shot him.
And I'm not. And the thing is,
everything under the sun.
And
but
I don't think
black is a threat.
I don't think it's an exact sign. I don't think it's 100% foolproof now. But I think we need to still be smart, and if we can prevent it ourselves, then we have to. I don't feel like we should give them any kind of room to give an excuse, because he gave them an excuse. He didn't give them an excuse for us, but in court, all this police going to have to say is that we don't know what he was going to get. Now, it was excessive force, but we don't know what he was getting out of his car.
If he didn't go to his car, my whole take on this thing is the reason why he got out the car. So we always, we do know that us women don't feel protected. So we always said that, we expressed that. But he saw women fighting and decided, you know what, this is not right. I'm gonna get out of my car and do that. Far as what he did, I don't care if he was going to his car to pull out a machete, which he shouldn't have. Y'all were close enough to grab him and subdue him. I witnessed a video on the internet the other day where a white guy, got out his car, went back, chased the police, got in the car, and pulled off. And they could have did anything. The police was running from this white guy for what? And he had a whole weapon. They did nothing. They were scared of him. But us being black people mean we're a threat. I feel like at this point in time, it doesn't matter what we do. Our skin tone is a threat. And I know women are getting killed because Breonna still does not have her justice that we're still pushing for. However, I feel like black men are more of a threat. For some reason, the police see a black man, he automatically thinks, oh, I gotta just shoot him. But what they did not count on, they thought those 7 shots was going to kill him. But the fact that he's still here and he can go to court now will change it. Because all of the other ones, they shot him and he died. They stabbed him in their neck and they died. Now he's here. He might be paralyzed, but he's here.
And I agree with you. They are 1,000% wrong. However, we have to face facts that we are in a country that is racist, that is bigoted, and is not a fair. We don't have a fair shake when it comes to that. So we have to still be smart as to how we handle those situations, in hopes that it's odds now. Now, there's still times you can do all the right things and you're still gonna get shot. But there's also times when you can do the right thing and you don't get shot still, right? So it's not smart to me. I wouldn't want my son to do that, and I wouldn't. Do not give them any ammunition. Do not let them get any opportunity to try to say that you were doing something aggressive, to put that whole aggressive thing on the black man. He was turning away, he was fighting, he was resisting, he opened the door to the car, we didn't know what he was getting, he said he had a knife. All that stuff is gonna come out in court. While he rolls in there paralyzed, which he shouldn't be paralyzed, shouldn't have been shot, paralyzed, handcuffed to the bed in the hospital. His dad had to go and see him handcuffed to the bed like a criminal. They're gonna use his record, the fact that he has that he had a warrant for domestic abuse. They're gonna use that. All that stuff is gonna be used. While ain't nothing of it got nothing to do with the police not doing their job and being racist and killing this guy, or not killing this guy, but trying to kill this guy, attempting murder.
They wanted to kill him.
None of it has anything to do with that, but all that's gonna be used against this guy, unfortunately. And I really wish that the way that the NBA, the way that Kenny Smith, the way that all these folks are going to bat right now, are they doing this for Breonna Taylor?
Yeah.
Are they? Are people
they just got rearrested. Yes. They're still fighting for Breonna, but Breonna will never, because the attorney general don't give 2 craps, because he's too busy worried about Trump and his supporters and what that's going to do to his image. So he will not press charges. You saw that the people, older, and they were white people. Did you see the video? The elderly white people was on there protesting on his lawn, and he got them arrested.
Yep. Tim said,
elderly white people for Breonna Taylor, and you got them. What are they going to do?
right.
They are not a threat to you, sir.
Tim said, what's the solution to not having to have the talk that we have to have with our black boys? I
Not
don't know.
black.
I don't know. And that's a sad commentary. I don't know.
Black. And you have a son, I have a son. My son will be 14 next month. And my biggest fear is when he told me, my 14-year-old told me, Mom, will I die from the police? He should not have asked me that question. That's nothing your child should ever ask you.
Right.
And honestly, I had a talk with him, but I told him, I don't know. We told him what to do when you're stopped by the police, what not to do, to comply, to not be irate. But in reality, you can tell your child anything. Being black is just a threat. Like, it's really a threat, and it shouldn't be.
We're looked at as animals, not as humans. And I've experienced it. Tam and I, we went on vacation to Myrtle Beach a couple years ago, and we got pulled over for what was it, tail light or something? I don't know. It was a rental car, and something was out. Something was wrong with the car. And police pulled over. Was a black guy and a white woman. I literally locked up. Like, I was like, so freaking, I was petrified. So I understand that is a scary, and I hadn't did anything. I didn't do nothing. I wasn't even driving. Damn, didn't do nothing. It was just something, I think it was a light out or something. And that's a scary feeling because you don't know what they're gonna do. You don't know how so all I did, I put my trying to do everything I hear people saying we need to do to try to show that we're not being, I don't want to give them no chance. If you do kill me, the narrative is going to be you killed me, and I wasn't aggressive whatsoever. You just killed me, innocent man, with my hands up. That's how you killed me. If you killed me, idiot. So I don't know what we do about it. I think it's a lot that needs to be done for it. A lot. She said we had rental tag, so they pulled us over. Yeah. Just because it's paper tag, I think rental tag, whatever it is. But
I don't think that matters. I saw cops harass people in North Carolina for sitting in the gas station. Literally, they were in the gas station just having a conversation on the side, and the cops I'm gonna be honest, where we live is a lot of white people where we live. I'm be honest, but they were just sitting in the gas station. I was waiting for my daughter's food, and the cops just came and harassed them. And I see white people sitting in there all the time because there's an outside dining in the sheets. I don't know if y'all have sheets down there. And they just got out the car, they rolled by, and they came back. Older gentlemen just talking, about 5 of them. They harassed them, asked them for their license, their ID. They're outside their vehicles. They're just having a conversation on a Sunday morning, and half of them still had their church clothes on. But and I'm sitting there watching it like, these men just over there just talking in their church clothes.
I don't know what it is.
I didn't understand that.
These people go out to die out. Or it needs to be an overhaul over the criminal justice system, over the policing system, over the training, all that. It's just ridiculous to me that as prevalent as this is now, that police chiefs aren't having a conversation with all the police officers saying, hey, stop it. It's happening somewhere. They should be having a conversation. Stop, don't do that. It should be like a real serious conversation that should be happening.
The California governor, the law he's trying to pass right now?
Gavin Newsom, what is it?
He's trying to pass the law that the cops will have any unjust that the cops do, they will be penalized and served in court just like we are.
Absolutely. That should always have been the case anyway.
I was watching that earlier, and I forget the name of the law, but he's passing that in California, and I hope other governors follow suit. It depends on your state, but for him in California to pass that's a step.
Absolutely.
We all know how the LAPD is.
Absolutely.
So for him to actually be in a governor and see the unjust, and he's like, well, I'm going to pass this law. Hopefully other governors will follow suit, and other states will realize, okay, they're going to go to jail. You do unjust, you're going to go to jail. You saw the video when the lady was sitting on her porch and the cop came out and tased her. sitting on her porch laughing. They said she was laughing too loud on her own porch, on her own property.
That's ridiculous. And Kendrick, that is right. The unions that's a problem too. Speaking of Gavin Newsom, I just want to lighten it up just for a second before we go to the next topic. Gavin Newsom's ex-wife is dating Donald Trump Jr. And Donald Trump Jr. and his girlfriend, who's Gavin Newsom's ex-wife, both spoke at the Republican National Convention. And all the rumors is that Donald Trump Jr. was on that cocaine, on that crack.
Woo! Did you see it?
And I think I did a video. I'm gonna put the link on here for y'all to see in the description. I'll put it in the description on YouTube for y'all can check it out. I did a video about I didn't know Whitney and Bobby were gonna be at the Republican National Convention because they were acting very crackish. She was all loud and boisterous, and I'm like, they both on that mess. They both on that mess, allegedly. So it's very interesting. I think they on that stuff.
Allegedly.
You know, it take a little cocaine to
a lot.
To go up there and lie for your daddy and act like he's a good person.
Because he's pro school. What does that even mean?
Act like he's a good person. He ain't no good person. Oh my God. Candace Owens did not get an invitation. They did not invite her to the thing. Very surprisingly.
Herschel was there.
Sam says no one does right just because most do right to avoid consequences. That's true. Brittany mentioned Rittenhouse, whatever his punk name is. Let's talk about this little white punk.
Woo!
What do you look? Show the picture of this little asshole. I'm sorry, I'm supposed to say, can I say a-hole? So keep it up for a second. So that's him on the right with his gun. I don't know where he got it from. I guess his racist, bigoted daddy. And then look at him on the left side. He's at a Trump rally. Interesting. Quite interesting, isn't it? All right, we'll tell you. Isn't that interesting?
Okay.
And look at this. He done shot somebody. People dead. People injured. This little pasty white punk.
Thug. If we thugs, he's a thug.
Thug. I saw all those videos of this little idiot with this gun. They was all trying to, after he shot somebody, I think, in the face, I heard, and then they all tackled him. I don't know how they let it was white boys have to be tackling them. And sorry to all my white brothers out there. Come on. A brother tackle you ain't finna turn around with no big long ass gun and shoot nobody. If I tackle you, hey, how you turning around with a gun and shoot me in the stomach? Really? They had him on the ground and somehow he was able to roll around and shoot two more people.
They should have
out. Not only that, before all that, police giving him water, asking if he okay. And got a whole armed militia, 17 years old out here with a AK or AR-15 or whatever it was, gun. Police just acting like it's okay. After he shot these folks, this dude walks past the cop. Like, what? Now, if black dude walking past the cops with these guns, with this gun, what would happen? They would have ran over him with the SWAT truck trying to stop him. You know, it's absolutely.
We wouldn't have made it to there with the gun. Let's start. We wouldn't even have to be able to take a gun into the rally, let alone out.
Right. You better not be seeing black out with no assault rifle. Tam said the gun was strapped to his chest like he in the military or something. And they talking about a news outlets keep portraying him as a promising police. Yeah, you can see how promising he is. He about to be in prison for the rest of his life. He better be, and he gonna get murdered in prison.
But I think his parents better go to jail with him because 17 not even the legal age to carry, and even in an open carry state.
The police should be in trouble too. That saw him with it and gave him water and didn't check to see if he was supposed to be even carrying this thing.
We would have been tried as adults. They locked him. His caption said juvenile. It would have been like black man, black woman tried as an adult.
The families of the victims should be suing the police for letting this dude, for seeing him and not doing nothing. I'd be suing.
Did you see the conference when the police officer decided to go in there and say if the protesters weren't out past 8, he wouldn't be this wouldn't have happened. So we're gonna blame the victims now.
They just pissing me off.
We're gonna blame the victims. Not the fact that a 17-year-old came strapped up to shoot, but the fact that they were still protesting.
Right, Tam said, wasn't he supposed to be in school, virtual school or something? Or did they have real school? They going in? What do you look, punk? I can't.
Is he still in school? But you know why too? Did you see the rally when Pence went up there and was saying how basically, long story short, Biden didn't talk about what's going on in America and all the violence and how we need to stand up. He was fueled by that. It'd be the smallest thing.
Yep, absolutely.
And he decided, well, Pitt said, I'm leaving this rally and I'm going to go do what I have to do.
Yep.
When you fueled on that hate, you don't know how people mentally take that.
Mm-hmm.
And clearly he was off. But his parents need to go to jail too. I need to know why. I need them to go to their house and lock them up too.
What I don't think
he would be in jail.
What's crazy is that while it's white people out there marching and protesting and they got shot and all that, but all in support of Jacob Blake, of course, what people don't understand is that are they really trying to go to war with people of color? It's a very dangerous thing to really truly have to go to war with people of color. Blacks and Mexicans, they think they want that, but I don't think they know what they be getting.
They lucky we just want equality.
They better chill out, because if it turns to a war, it's gonna be ugly. But first of all, there's a whole bunch of white folks that'll be on the color side. First of all, that's very dangerous. It ain't like what's his name? Paul Mooney did this comedy bit that I love. I'm about to post it again, and he said these little young boys these days, they ain't scared of your police dogs. He said they ain't scared. They got pit bulls. They try to tell one of them. He said try to tell one of them they got to sit in the back of the bus. Try to tell one of them they can't drink at this whites on the water fountain and see what happens. Go tell these little young black guys that now. See what happens. It ain't the same. It ain't like the 60s. It ain't.
You pull out a gun, they gonna pull theirs out.
It ain't the same. They gonna find out soon though.
But you know what? You ever see that movie The Purge?
Yeah, I seen that movie. Stupid.
Let that ever become legal. It'll be a bunch of craziness in this town.
Hopefully, it don't get there, but it's getting crazy and crazy.
I don't think so. I used to say, I'm be honest. I used to say, well, it's not all police, but my thing is, it's too many at this point because everybody is not all cops. And I was one like, you know what? We'll be saying that it's not all cops, but at this point, it's too many. So who is good on the force? Because the ones that's silent and allowing their partner to be racist, the black cop that's showing off for the white cop who's allowing this is wrong
chief,
just as
police
much as
chief.
they are. The cooning and buffooning just as wrong. When you allowing that to happen and you seeing it happen and you knowing that they being unjust and they doing racist stuff and you're watching it, you're just as wrong too. So at this point, I'm trying to figure out who are the good cops.
Right.
I had police officers in my family. I'm sure everyone has a police officer in their family or a friend. But at this point in time, I can't even say, oh, it's not all cops because I'm seeing too many other bad cops.
I was telling Tam that if I was those other cops, after seeing what happened with George Floyd, if I was one of those other cops, I would have slapped him in the back of his head and said, hey, wait, you about to get us all in trouble, fool. They gonna get all our names. And we all gonna be tied in with your idiot tail. I would have slapped. I would have been on camera. I would have wanted to be on camera, butting him upside his head with the butt of my gun.
Listen, I would have cold clocked him.
I would have cocked his ass. I would probably shot him in the back of the leg. Hey, that's him. And he went too far, and I had to do something about it. I had to speak up. Had to do something. He gonna be taking me down with him. He about to take these fools down with him.
And it's, what's sad? I'm be honest. I couldn't watch the video. I mean, I watched a little bit, but imagine his children in the car.
Traumatized.
If I can't watch the video in my 30s and feeling some type of way. His kids were what, 5, 3, and 8?
Traumatized.
They saw that. I couldn't watch it across a screen. They saw that and they witnessed their dad being shot in front of them. You remember that.
Yep, absolutely. They can be traumatized.
You never know. With the
PTSD.
3-year-old's young, but the 3-year-old, if you found something traumatic, that's going to stick with you.
If they ever get pulled over, the PTSD is going to be just overwhelming. There's so many things they're going to have to deal with. Tam said the chief said he didn't even watch the video on national TV. He said he was proud about it. See that?
But he couldn't watch it. Why couldn't you watch it?
Kenny said he want to see the body cam if the thug cops didn't even have them on. Hopefully it'll come out soon. All right, let's move to the next topic before I get pissed off. I hate this. I'm just sick of it, man. I'm so sick of it. March on Washington. And listen, I'm not a Al Sharpton fan, right? I've never been.
Me either. We agree for the first time, Lamar.
Right. But however,
we agree.
I watched his speech today, and he almost brought me to tears. And I perhaps am a little sensitive, but I'm typically not as tied into this, like so caught up. Like while I see all the stuff that's going on, I don't get emotionally involved in it. But for some reason, this one jacked me up a little bit. And just listening to him talk about how people like just getting out the vote for one, and all the bigotry and all that, it jacked me up. I was like, dang, this is deep. This is heavy stuff. And I was like, this is really heavy. There was just so much stuff that he said. I can't even really pinpoint specifically the lines that he said, but it was just so much, and it was very impactful hearing it. I need to go listen. I need to listen to it again. And I was able to say that I enjoyed his speech more than I enjoyed Obama's speech, more than I enjoyed Biden's, Kamala's, Trump's, Pence's, anybody else's there at any of these conventions. His speech was more impactful to me than any of those. It made me feel a sense of pride of seeing what our forefathers, our people that came before us, MLK, what they all did for us, how they've been fighting and how we're still fighting, and then the show of force that he had. He spoke with authority and power that, hey, letting them know that, hey, this is not going to keep happening. We all banding together. This is not going to keep happening. Let me see. He said they keep telling me about how it's a thing that a black parent have to have the conversation with our children. How we have to explain if a cop stops you, don't reach for your glove compartment, don't call back. The conversation. Well, we've had the conversation for decades. It's time we have a conversation with America. We need to have a conversation about your racism, about your bigotry, about your hate, and how you will put your knee on the neck while we cry for our lives. We need a new conversation. That was heavy to me. And in addition to everything else he said, so big ups to Sharpton for speaking out. Big ups. And I ain't never been a fan, but I really appreciate what he had to say. Did you see it?
I did not see it, and it said I should have. But I will be watching it. I actually wanted to go there. I kept saying I'm gonna go. We just gonna plan to go, but it didn't work out like that. But I mean, it was needed at this point in time.
It's a call to action, and it really makes me. It made me really look at myself and be like, what am I? I need to do more. What can I do? I literally had to just look at myself and say, what am I doing for the cause to help? And I need to figure out what I can do for the cause. I'm talking about it as a step, but what I need to know, what else can I do for the cause? And I feel like everybody needs to have that same spirit as it relates to this, because it ain't stopping right now.
It's been time, but it's definitely time, and I 100% agree, because yes, we're talking about it, but it's like action time at this point. And it's just heartbreaking. Like,
and the thing is, it can't just be black Democrats talking and white liberals talking. There needs to be moderates like me, a black moderate, and black conservatives. You can't be so desensitized and stupid that just because you're on the other side of the aisle, you can't acknowledge that there's injustices going on towards black people just because you're a conservative or Republican. That is stupid and ridiculous, and it has to stop.
My thing, I don't care if you're a Republican, I don't care if you're a Democrat. You just got to be a human at this point. Like, you have to put yourself, people always say what we should do and what we shouldn't do, but you have to really put yourself and imagine, what if that was your child or yourself at this point in time? And you know why people don't want to imagine it? Because when you have so-called the privilege, they can't imagine it because they don't think it will ever happen to them. Mm-hmm. And it's sad that we're fighting this same war for decades. And I feel like it's sad that I shouldn't feel like this, but I feel like right now, even no matter what we do, how many protests, how many speeches, even if some cops go to jail, it's not going to change. And you know why? Because it's been going on for centuries. It's not going to change. This is nothing new, and you can't stop. And then when you teach it at home, that boy that went out and shooting, that's stuff at home. Yep. So even if they decide to change, and you like, I'm gonna change. If you're still teaching that hatred and that racism and that bigotry at home, it's going to continue because they're going to teach it to their grandkids, and the grandkids going to teach it to their kids.
And then it's being what's the word? It's being he's giving treats. Trump is giving treats for people for even acting an idiot. Like that man and woman that put the gun on everybody in their yard or what have you. They got to speak at the convention.
How dare you?
So this is a man, no matter what his politics, forget his politics. As a person, he's a horrible person. I don't care what he does, who he is as a person, his heart, it supersedes anything he can do for the economy, for the country, because he's dividing the country with his rhetoric, with what he's inciting people to be hateful, bigoted, evil, racist. It's just too much. There's no way he can continue to be in office. There's no way. No way. It's horrible. This is a horrible state of affairs right now.
It's horrible.
And he's doing like the slave master. You got your slaves. You got your slaves out there. You treat them like crap. You treat them as slaves. But then you got your ones that you give special treatment when they do what you want them to do. Or you got your little special little deeds that you do just to look like you're not, so that you don't have to look at yourself and see that you're a racist. So I'm gonna pardon you. Pardon a couple of blacks. I ain't no racist. Yeah. I'm pardoning blacks. I'm giving to the HBCUs. I'm doing this and that, but still inciting racism. It's ridiculous. It sucks.
Outside of racism, though, he don't even care about America in general, because the only person that whole rally, the only person even spoke about the COVID was Melania. He don't even care about. Outside of racism, he can give a crap about just anybody.
Nope.
Because that should have been something in this day and time. Besides this injustice and the cops killing, even if you didn't care, we know you don't care, but he always made a note. It ain't like he faked it. That's always been him. He kept that same energy. So, understandable. But how many people in America have died from this virus, and you couldn't even address that? Right.
It's sick. And you are the president?
That's not even presidential. Like, and you got it took class for Biden and Kamala to reach out when his brother died.
Yeah.
He would have never did nothing like that.
Absolutely not. He didn't like to be asked about John Lewis and why he didn't go to the film.
I didn't go.
Well, John Lewis. Well, he didn't like me. John Lewis. Like, oh, you are a baby. You are an idiot child.
We see now at this point, because he just came out and said that he would have beat Obama 4 years ago. Obama didn't even run 4 years ago, sir.
He's an idiot.
And left.
As we come to an end, let's do final thoughts, because I'm ready to go. Final thoughts. So, no, I don't know if there was a mention of Kermit Kane at the convention or not. I don't remember. I didn't watch the whole thing. I just watched clips. But if Trump gets reelected, it's going to be an all-out war. It's going to be an all-out. But first of all, because there's no checks and balances for him if he wins. He's going to do what he wants to do. He's going to be even more xenophobic, racist, bigoted, hateful. He's going to be more of that, and nobody's going to be able to check it whatsoever. And if he wins, I would venture to say that it's going to be a Republican House and Senate. I would venture to even say that. And if that happens, it's going to be over. Ain't going to be no police reform. Ain't going to be none, because there's no balance. They're going to give all that they want. It's going to be horrible. So everyone, please go vote. Vote your conscience. People always say, I won't tell you who to vote. Don't vote for Trump. I do tell you to vote. Because if you go vote and you vote for Trump, it ain't him. Don't understand. Just understand. We need to get to some normalcy. While some Republican policies, in my opinion, as a moderate, I feel like are better for the country, but it doesn't supersede the importance of the division that we have in the country right now because of this idiot. It does not. We need normalcy. And once we get some normalcy, then let's get back to fighting about what policies are better on each side. But let's get some level-headed folks in the White House that can make decisions with their heart versus with their ego. And that's all I got. You got anything you want to leave us with?
I would say my final thoughts is I'm going to piggyback off you. Please vote. It is important. And when people say your vote doesn't count, If your vote didn't count, then they wouldn't have tried to hold our rights from us and stop us from voting. If something didn't count, they wouldn't have tried to hold us back and we wouldn't have to fight for it. So it does count, and that is why we need to vote. Also, I will say, we still have to have these conversations with our siblings, with our children, with even our parents at this point. The conversations still have to be had. Sadly, we still have to have these conversations. Also, COVID is not over. Please be safe. Despite what people are telling you, please be safe and protect yourself and your family and your loved ones. That is my final thoughts.
That's it. Thank you guys for tuning in. This has been TFG tonight. It was a heavy one tonight. There's some serious stuff going on, and we have to address it. We need to talk about it. And
thanks for having me on. I never make it to Friday. I'm always Monday. I made it to Friday.
I appreciate you for being on. It was a nice little talk, man. I appreciate it. So thank you guys, and we're out. Peace out.